Hello MotoGP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. From WorldSBK glory to a headline MotoGP move, Toprak Razgatlioglu's transition to Pramac Yamaha is one of the storylines everyone will be watching in 2026. In an exclusive interview following his Valencia test, Toprak spoke about first impressions, ergonomic struggles, why he waited to jump to MotoGP, and how the Yamaha offer this year differed from the one he received in 2022. Fabio Quartararo closed the 2025 season still the leading light inside a troubled Yamaha garage. No Grand Prix victories, a modest ninth in the championship, but flashes of pace and a renewed approach to racing have the Frenchman saying one bold thing: he believes he is a better rider now than ever before. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Toprak described his first public outing on the Yamaha M1 as an exercise in discovery rather than performance. Surrounded by a far larger paddock, more cameras and a different team culture, the Turkish rider deliberately treated Valencia as a familiarization session. He avoided risking the single demo bike, focused on understanding the ergonomics and electronics, and walked away with a clear plan for the next sessions. That cautious approach paid off. On the private day that followed, he experimented with seat positions and was able to extract more pace without pressing beyond what was sensible for a debut. It was truly a day of discovery. After Superbike, everything is different for me. The paddock is different, the bike is different. To be honest, it all felt a bit strange. The takeaway is a rider who knows when to push and when to learn. Toprak wasn't chasing headlines in Valencia. He was gathering data, building trust with engineers, and laying the groundwork for a longer learning curve that will continue in Malaysia and beyond. One of the clearest technical threads in Toprak's interview was the emphasis on rider position and its domino effect on braking and stability. Unlike his Superbike rides, the MotoGP M1 placed him further forward and changed the way he approached the brakes and turn-in. That's not a small tweak. It affects confidence, corner entry speed, and feedback through the front tire. Toprak and the Yamaha engineers have already discussed higher handlebars and bespoke chassis parts to shift his seating and restore a riding posture that suits his instincts. Everything is different: the tires, the brakes, the bike, the acceleration, the braking. As I said, what bothered me most was the seat position. I'm too far forward, which doesn't suit my riding style. That admission is technical and honest. Adapting a rider to a prototype isn't only about giving them horsepower. It's ergonomics, geometry, and trust in the contact patches. The upcoming Malaysian tests will be the real laboratory for those changes. When asked why he declined earlier MotoGP approaches, Toprak was blunt. The deal then simply wasn't comparable to what Yamaha and Pramac offered this year. He framed his career as measured and intentional: success at WorldSBK, a productive move to BMW, and only when the right conditions arrived did he accept the MotoGP step. Importantly, he stressed that Pramac today operates at factory level. The backing, parts and program mirror the official squad, which transformed the offer from a speculative option into a genuine factory-caliber opportunity. The option I had at that time was nothing like the contract I signed this year. I'm happy with my career. I'm happy to have switched to BMW and to have been successful there. I'm taking it one step at a time, without rushing things. That suits me well. That message speaks to ambition married with prudence. Toprak did not jump for prestige alone. He waited until the package, support, and timing matched his career goals. Toprak's Valencia lap times, ahead of established riders on the day, were a headline, but he himself downplayed the meaning of a single session. He cautioned against overinterpretation while acknowledging that the private test proved he can adapt quickly when given the right setup changes. He also kept a measured view on comparisons with peers like Jack Miller or Alex Rins. One day is a snapshot, not a season. What matters now is the winter program: 6 days in Sepang, further work in Buram, and the iterative changes to ergonomics that Yamaha's engineers promised. I need to get some practice in. That short sentence is the practical heart of the interview. Time in the saddle, seat tweaks, and race kilometers will turn impressions into performance. His tone is realistic, confident but not congratulatory, which is exactly what teams ask of a rookie stepping into the premier class. Toprak Razgatlioglu's entry into MotoGP reads like a carefully managed career move, tested patience, a factory-level offer that met his terms, and a technical program geared toward rapid adaptation. Valencia offered promise. Malaysia will test how quickly Yamaha and Pramac can translate ergonomic fixes into consistent lap time gains. If Toprak's cautious, methodical approach pays off, 2026 could be the start of a major new chapter, both for him and for fans who hope to see a former WorldSBK king rise among prototype elites. The season summary is almost paradoxical. Quartararo produced raw speed, 5 pole positions and a handful of sprint rostrums, yet the result column never matched the promise. Analysts point to a package that favored qualifying trim more than race pace, a bike that could produce one-lap fireworks but was hamstrung by low mid-range power and grip in race conditions. Fabio's own verdict was not defensive bravado. It was a technical observation of how he's evolved as a competitor. Rather than lamenting the loss of trophies, he reflected on what he learned about race management and problem handling, skills he says make him a stronger rider today. Yes. Clearly better. Because I've learned how to manage the difficult moments. That self-assessment reframes the season. Rather than judging it purely on podiums, Quartararo measures progress in resilience and racercraft, an argument that experience and mental adaptation count as development, too. 5 poles is an unambiguous statement. When the track and setup suit him, Quartararo is still among the fastest men in the paddock. Phillip Island's unexpected pole, the one he described as perhaps the best of the year, was a reminder of how his speed can still swing a weekend. Yet pole-to-race translation was the recurring disappointment. The team's engineers often found that the M1's peak one-lap performance did not carry over into long-run stability, meaning that starts and early laps became critical battlegrounds where potential evaporated. It's one that I didn't expect, referring to the Phillip Island pole. That sentence captures both modesty and warning, a landmark lap that proved his class, while also underlining the inconsistency the team must cure if those grid positions are to become race wins. Perhaps the season's clearest tactical shift was Quartararo's move from aggression to containment. When a rider says he is defending rather than attacking, it is as much about tire behavior and power delivery as it is about mindset. Yamaha's package left him with lower grip and less usable power compared to rivals. The logical consequence was a race script where damage limitation replaced opportunistic attacks. Yet Fabio argues this evolution has refined his skills, learning to ride around weaknesses, to ride above the problems, and to keep scoring when ideal conditions aren't present. At some tracks I can push a bit more, but especially I never attack. It's all about defending. The tactical shift is a double-edged sword. It salvages points now but risks eroding the instinct to seize chances. Turning that defensive competency back into attacking instinct will be a core task for rider and engineers in the winter. Quartararo didn't frame the season as failure. He framed it as a school of hard lessons that improved his race craft. He insists that his technique hasn't diminished. If anything, it's matured through adversity. The real variable is Yamaha's hardware. The team will introduce a V4 package in 2026 and a new tire supplier in 2027, structural changes that could reset competitive balances. Fabio's future now hinges on how quickly the new machine converts development days into race-competitive package, and whether he can reclaim an attacking style once the power and grip are back. Now I know which problems I have and I'm able to ride above the problems or to the side of them. So I'm able to always push, and this I learned during these years. That measured confidence is strategic. He's betting that the combination of technical fixes and his improved mental toolkit will let him convert poles into podiums again. But it will take a better package from Yamaha to fully unlock it. Fabio Quartararo's 2025 was a study in contrasts. Blazing single-lap speed, cautious race strategy, and a rider who believes his best technical and mental work is behind him. For Yamaha, the challenge is clear: match his growth with a bike that gives him the tools to attack. For Fabio, the mission is equally precise: keep refining the craft that lets him cope with problems today, and rediscover the ruthless racercraft that won him the title. The winter will be decisive, a time for engineers to answer the questions and for Quartararo to turn better into results. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!